As this is your host, Kavaski Urban with Humming Podcast. Thank you so much for being here today. Thank you so much for tapping in. We are so excited today. Today, I got something more unique than I ever did before. We got an interview from a veteran about a book from a Vietnamese lady who writes a wonderful God-led book about her God-led story about how God acted on behalf of everyone around her to bring her together with her husband and to get a response from the president of the United States in a time where this was not happening. And Mr. Pat is going to be leading us through this wonderful story. Join me as I listen to this story and engage in a wonderful conversation as he says kind words to me on behalf of many good things that are happening. And I want you guys to be tapped in today on Humming Podcast. Let's go. Listen in, stay focused, get your earphones ready, and give us about 35 minutes of your time, and you're going to be blessed. From Texas. I'll talk to you later. Bye.
So here we go. Let me, because there's a lot to the book. Don't you get up yet. Just let me keep it talking. Okay. I mean, it's making my day to have us talk about this. It's like me and you talking here. Yes, sir. We didn't intended this to happen. We didn't. So I look at this as a God gift for some reason. I don't know. Some things we don't find out. That's God. They found out. You got a personality. It's a plus. It's not a minus. And I like a good personality. Push this person. You're stepping on their freedom point. And we can't do that. But as long as this girl's not doing nothing wrong, I can't arrest her for being out there. I meet something like that. Yes. That tears me up. I can't pack it up. I was raised in a church over there in a little farming community. I went back. I said, ma'am, have you had breakfast? Did you like breakfast? I said, well, here's $20. When you get ready, go in and have your breakfast. I said, got some family you can go to? I says, well, here's $20 more to help you out. Left her and come back. I ate my breakfast. She went to cry and hugged my neck. I don't look at the skin. There's still a human being. So as a police officer, I got over there eating. He got up to me. I said, officer, come here a minute. He came over and sat right there. I says, do we have provisions for this little homeless girl out here? He said, sir, we do. There's a thin line. See, we still have freedom in this country. Yeah. And they have their rights. Now, these places that helps these people, they have their rules and regulations. And when they come in there, those people are going to try to help that person. So long as they... And if they're on drugs, they're going to try to get them off. And if they don't abide by that, they'll open the door and says, well, you're welcome to go. He says, now that's the problem. Because if you push this person, you're stepping on their freedom point. And we can't do that. But as long as this girl's not doing nothing wrong, I can't arrest her for being out there. No, you can't. Understand that? Yeah. But what I see, the way I was grew up, in a church is still a human being. He said, you're absolutely right. I told him I went out there and I gave her some money. And I told him, I says, it's probably her own fault that she's in this position. But I said, I can't help that. Yeah. But I can give her something to help her out a little bit. I said, absolutely. So stuff like that bothers me. And when I try to do something, I feel much better right in here. You know what I mean? But anyway, get back to old Vietnam Woman.
No, I totally get you. And I totally hear what you're saying, because that same woman, before we jump right there, that same woman, I had an encounter with her on my day off. Me and my girlfriend was driving by, and I asked my girlfriend, I said, what you want to eat before I take you to your dance rehearsal? She says, I want to go eat fast food. I said, oh, no.
What food?
Fast food. Something fast. I'm like, oh, man. So we went to Popeye's Chicken, right? And so on my way to Popeye's, I see the same lady. Oh, man, I'm off work at this point, and I hadn't seen her since, I was here working. And I drive by, and I put my car in reverse because I thought she was just going to stand there and do whatever she's going to do. I don't want to interrupt her life. So I put my car in reverse. I back up and I asked her a question. I said, hey, what you doing? No, at this point, I don't think she saw my girlfriend. She was like, oh, nothing, what you doing? And she think I want to hang out with her. But I told her, I'm on my way to Popeye's with my girlfriend. I can get you something to eat if you ain't ate yet. And then she said, "Oh, I haven't ate." I said, "You like chicken? I mean, you like Popeyes? What you like? You like it? It's gonna be all right? Cause I can go to Taco Bell if you don't mind." And she said, "Y'all gonna go to Popeyes?" She's laughing and stuff. I said, "Yeah, we going to Popeyes. Popeyes, good." You know what I mean? And so we go. I get her the food. It's just another day in the life of being me. You know what I'm saying? And I love being this sort of guy to the people around me. She got her some chicken, and she had a sweet meal. I mean, it should be that simple. In my eyes, it's that simple. But moving on to the Vietnamese lady.
Well, anyway, John called me Pat. Mr. Davidson still put Pat to it. Well, just follow my truck up there, park beside it. My wife will come out. Now be careful. I said, what's wrong? She's gonna run and hug your neck. You should come. Little bitty one. Grab me, Mr. Pat. And I was hugging her neck, and I was looking down on top of her head.
Oh.
We sat down, had a big patio back there behind his house. It had a big roof. Said, John, if it come a flood, we wouldn't get a drop of water on us. Big as this roof is. Now, this was about 10:30 of the morning. 10:30 of the morning. When I got up to leave, it was done getting dusky dark. And I Miss Annie, my throat's already getting sore. I gotta go. It's the creative woman I ever met. She says, you can't go yet. I got to carry you in the house and show you my paintings. I said, you paint too? She says, yeah. I walked in that house. I was just almost swept away. Everything spotless. There wasn't nothing dirt, nothing. It was shining. I looked at John. I said, John, you sure do clean the house. John did not clean this house. She went to show me them pictures on the wall, about 6 of them, big pictures.
Yeah.
Any of them would have sold at high price at an auction. They was that perfect. And on table things, she had like cups and stuff. Every one of them had flowers painted on. She said, now, Mr. Pat, I want you to tell me about, as soon as we sat down outside, Mr. Pat, what is it about the book that grabs you? I said, well, Miss Ellen, let me tell you something. I was raised in a church, and right off the bat, I seen where God was involved in your book. She stopped and said, Mr. Pat, I wrote the book, but I've never had it explained to me like you.
Wow.
Just keep it going. That's how come it got dark before I got through. See, when she was born in North Vietnam, North Vietnam was already communism. South was a free country, but later on it was took over. When she was 10 months old, her daddy and mama decided to escape to the South. The daddy says, you take the baby first. You got this grandma in her arms, waited on a horse and buggy to pick her up. So she went to the South. Daddy went. So there's where all the kids was born in the South. They had 11. So when this grandma was in high school, she asked her mama, says, can I take English lessons? We don't have the money. Well, I'll find her the jobs to pay for it. So 2.5 years, she take English. I said, now, Miss Ellie, I'm going to stop right there. Did you ever realize why you was wanting to take English lessons? No, I just wanted to talk English. Well, I'm going to point out to you, God is the one who put that in your heart to speak English, because on down the trail about several years later, that's where you're going to need this English. I need it deeply. Keep going back. Don't stop. Keep going. I said, okay. After you graduated at 17, yeah. A friend calls you from the PX in Saigon, the service PX. Yeah. Come up here. I'll get you a job. Pays good. A good place to work. Okay, she went. They hired her right there. So go to work now. I said, now, Miss Annie, after you went to work, the door come open, and in walked Wonder Boy sitting here.
Her husband.
Her future husband. She says, yeah? Did you realize that was your future husband? Oh, my God, Mr. Pat, keep going. I looked at John over, and John was grinning and laughing. I said, see, God was putting all this together. He was going to get you and John here married. I'm sure glad you come today. And I was eating it up. Well, here we go. Let me, because there's a lot to the book. Don't you get up yet. Just let me keep it talking. Okay. I mean, it's making my day to have us talk about it. Then they went to dating. And John says, let's get married. She said, I'm ready. But John thought it'd take just about a day to get married. That's different. Their service boy was marrying a foreign girl in a foreign country.
Wow.
So they had to go through detail and detail. And then his company commander wouldn't let him go to Saigon, see it's several miles difference, to finish the paperwork. So what a wonder boy done was call his mama in Cargan, Texas. Mama, don't look like we're going to be getting married because my tour duty's coming up and I have to leave to come back home. And I got to be here. The marriage papers working. So lo and behold, her mama done. She says, well, son, I'll just write the president of the United States a letter. Well, you just don't do that. Kind of unheard of, but it's not impossible. So Miss Ellie, look at there. God was using his mama.
Yeah.
To get you two married. 2 weeks they was married. But anyway, let me go ahead and tell you. Old John was in the motor pool working one day. Big old cussing sergeant. Let's pick your my guy up here. Somebody in the White House was talking. Over at headquarters. Don't slow down till you get there. He walked in, the clerk was yelling, come here, Mr. Ellis. Somebody in the White House wants to talk to you. He got on the hell out. He says, Ellis, this is so-and-so in the White House. He says, what is your problem and issues? He explained to it.
Wow.
He went through it and told him. He says, well, Ellis, we'll take care of that. Don't worry about it. 2 weeks' time, they's married. So Ellis had to come home, but they was married. Off that, she got pregnant. She had to stay back because she had to get her visas and her baby's visa. Finally, she landed in Houston. He picked her up, carried her to Cargans. Let me get another drink, though.
You need some heat out here? Natalia, can we please get some party?
Look at that. Good Lord. I kind of getting burned out. But she had to go to work to get her mama and daddy and the rest of the kids. So the daddy was just trying to get the escape route back to Vietnam. The daddy and 2 boys said, now we're going to escape first. And he had to pick the guides to get them to the border. But what happened, a communist regime had already took over.
Yeah.
They had to be careful because that communist government was putting fake guides. And what they do, they'd take all their gold and money and then kill them. So they had to be careful. So one guide, he said, now I can just take one boy because I got 4 more. Had an army jeep, and it's 375 miles to the border. Said, now if we get captured by the Pol Pot soldiers, we all dead. So here they went. They was 25 yards out there to freedom. One boy, he was 14. The other boy was supposed to be with his daddy, going another route. The Pol Pot soldiers lined him up. Are you listening, man?
Yeah, I'm trying to see the picture.
He lined them up. Pol Pots had the rifles. They fixed them, kill all of them. Here comes somebody out of the bushes hollering at a cuss. They laid their guns down and said, he led them to that boy there and says, get over there and freedom. Take off. I said, now, Miss Ellie, let's stop right there. It was embalmed in there. I hit David to kill every one of them. Go on, keep going, don't stop. I'm still with him. Put him in a holding place. Interrogate. They won't no communist in there. So one day, big old truck had a bunch of people in it. They unloaded. He jumped up to see was his brother coming off that truck. His daddy with you? No. They put him in prison. So they was interrogating him one. Now I'm talking about maybe a year later. This American interrogator could speak very fluent in Vietnam. He said, boys, let me ask you some questions. What was your oldest sister's name? They told him. Okay. What was your mom and daddy's name? They told him. He says, He says, okay, boys, we're going to get your daddy. We're going to put y'all together, and y'all fix and get on an airplane and go to America. Just that quick. Here was the daddy and 2 boys landed in Houston. They had to go pick them up. His woman and John.
Wow.
Said, Mr. Pat, I had a Monte Carlo, and said, we squeezed them all in there, and here we come. And says, first thing I done is up to my preachers and asked him, would he help me get him a job? I said, I sure will. He went and called personnel office at Champion International. They hired him on. Says, go to this place. I said, I'll hold it. Now, your daddy and brothers couldn't speak English. That's right. and you knew how to speak English. So let's go back to the top of that. That's why God let you take English lessons. Because them people at the plywood plant couldn't speak Taiwanese. So that's fell in line. There it was. God was still there. Mr. Pat, keep on going. So now here's the bad part. Now the rest of the kids, in the meantime, I'm not going to speak about this, but it was another girl, a younger boy, another girl and a younger boy drowned at sea trying to escape. Now, in the meantime, Daddy and the boy, 2 boys, was in Corrigan, Texas.
Yeah.
That left Mama with the rest of the kids, and she had to feed them. So the daddy and the 2 boys went to work. Champion held them back a week, and then they paid them on the 2nd week. She carried them to the Corrigan bank to cash their check. There comes the English in again. So they immediately went and got money orders and sent to Vietnam to help Mama feed the kids. That went on for a while. And then the daddy and the boys rented a house to where they could move in about themselves. So in the meantime, Daddy saved enough of money to buy a house in 5 acres pretty close to Grandma and the Corrigan boy. In the meantime, Corrigan didn't have no Asian food grocery stores, and the boys took driver lessons from a car. She showed them places down there in Houston had Asian grocery stores. And Grandpa was getting real bored because he couldn't speak with no Taiwanese people. So there they was, down there in Houston, in the grocery store, just walking along.
And real quick, Mr. Pat, in her book, she explains these details out. She was in the midst of all this?
Her and her husband, boy, in Corrigan, Texas, for several, maybe a year or so, they was taking care of them. But after they bought them a car, learned to drive, that left the burden off. But anyway, one day the grandpa was moseying around in that grocery store in Houston. Lo and behold, that was one of his best friends from Taiwan, Vietnamese people. Oh, we hugged and kissed and howdy doody and said we got to walking, and bumped into his first cousin that escaped from Vietnam. Said from then on, my daddy had it made. Every other week he'd go to Houston down there and meet with him and visit with him. So here's
that is interesting.
Here's the deal. Finally, the mama in Vietnam. The rest of the kids, talking about 13 years later.
Wow.
They hadn't seen each other in 13 years.
Wow.
But they was kept sending them money. Immigration office got a hold of it one day. You and your children meet up here tomorrow. Here she went. The kids right behind her like Papa Finds. Here they go.
Just straight.
The interpreters, he was talking Vietnamese. Got good news today. You're fixing to leave Vietnam. You and your kids is fixing to get on a Air France jet plane, and you're going to America. She said, my mama like to collapse. Said she just laid her head on the desk and went to bawling. After 13 years, she was going to be with her husband and the other boy. They left.
And this is her mother?
Grandma's mother. The one that's in Corrigan, that was her mother. See, her daddy and 2 brothers was all did that. I said, now, Mr. Pat. I said, yes, y'all had to take 2 cars this time. We sure did. Picked them all up and says, my daddy recognized one of the boys, 300 on that plane, and says, everybody was watching us. We was a-hollering and screaming and a-crying. Everybody just stopped, looking it up. So they was all together. And they moved in that house that her daddy had bought, Mr. Pat. You know what happened next? All of these boys, they growed up, got married, they got kids, grandkids. Grandma and the Corrigan boy, see, their first baby was a boy. Johnny, my little neighbor upstairs, is Johnny's daughter. See, they had 2 kids. Grandma and the Corrigan boy had 2 kids, a girl and a boy. And the boy, that little girl, is his.
Your upstairs neighbor.
I says, well, now, Joey is her name. I can't hardly. Ding and Dong. Some of them like Ding and Dong. I get messed up with that. But anyway,
interesting.
But anyway, I said, you sure don't look like a Vietnamese. Pat, everybody I see tells me that. But says, now my daddy is only half Vietnamese. But says, you know, my daddy, he looks Spanish. You sure don't look like a Vietnamese, like your grandma.
Does she look more Hispanic? White?
She looks just like a white girl.
Black hair?
Really, but friendly. She got a personality to blow your head off.
Yeah, I want to meet her. I do. I mean, I just have a vision in my mind of what all.
But see now,
brought these opportunities together.
The whole thing started from Big Mama and Big Daddy. It's went to kids, grandkids, and great grandkids. It's already built up. Now, one of the boys, one of Grandma's brothers, he and his wife live in Kingwood, and they own 3 businesses. They operate 3 businesses. And Kingwood, Texas, and Houston. Forgot about this. Now, he had his own car. He was working. He had a girlfriend in Lumberton, Texas. He left on a Friday afternoon to go spend some of the weekend with his girlfriend in Lumberton, coming back early Sunday morning. So we were still out there at the table. You had got up one morning, and old Wonder Boy here had made coffee, and you smelt it. And you had to get up and get you a cup of coffee. And I says, Wonder Boy had already he was fixing breakfast. And you were sitting out there on that patio enjoying that cup of coffee. He opened the door and said, come on in, let's have breakfast. I said, now, Miss Ellie, this is Sunday morning. Y'all go to church. So y'all eat breakfast. Get dressed, go to church. Yeah, all right. The dog, the barking real loud, had a different tone to it. And you knew somebody was coming that had never been there before. Good Lord. Pat, keep going. About that time, this big old dog walked up beside me. I was sitting in that chair. I went to rubbing his back. I said, this dog here was one barking, wasn't it? Oh my God, it was. This dog was doing the barking. Big old dog. Man, had a head that big. But he wanted, but a little bit later, John says, Pat, reason he's here, he's wanting me to get up and feed him. She said, this is the time of day he gets fed. So in a minute, a big knock on the door. The dog was barking. She looked through the blinds. There's a highway patrol car, patrolman and another man. She said, John, I can't open this door. Something's wrong. So John come open the door. And they knew the one that had the funeral home in Cargan. They knew him. They knew it bad. John says, we didn't go to your mother-in-law and dad-in-law because they don't speak English, but y'all can, so I got sad news. Bean, one of the boys, had a bad wreck several miles from Cargan, and he didn't survive. He died. And it started all over. So they had to walk down there and tell their mom and daddy, and she collapsed in the flood. That's part of their life. Now, I says, Alice, I don't want to get caught in the dark down here on this road because it's too narrow and I don't want to get in the ditch. She said, now, Mr. Pat, why don't you just spend the night? Your clothes be fine. We start talking in the morning. I said, no, I'll come back later sometime. I said, one thing about, Asian people is real frisky, doing something.
Yeah.
They can't sit down. They got to be doing something.
Yeah.
Here's John over here. Says, first thing you notice when you come to the United States, did you notice that people over here are laid back to life? And she said, I noticed that, Mr. Pat. I sure did. Says, now, Vietnamese people, they're up doing something.
Yeah.
They got to be busy, creating things. Like me and you talking here.
Yes, sir.
We didn't intended this to happen. We didn't. So I look at this as a God gift for some reason. I don't know. Some things we don't find out. That's God. They found out. You got a personality. It's a plus. It's not a minus. And I like a good personality.
What's up, guys? Welcome back. I told you guys I'd talk to you later. Now's later. Listen, wasn't that a special conversation between me and my good friend about the life and the story of love, of two coming together under supernatural findings, wonderful interactions that transferred through their life. Look at that. Look at how things happen when you have faith. That was a wonderful story. I hope that you can go back and re-listen to some of the Texas Southern ways of conversation, how we interact, how we speak to and not through, each other. Life is good when you do it this way. Thank you for tapping into Humming Podcast. We always have very special things for you guys. This is the story of Vietnamese love, finding a Southern, deep in the heart of Texas love. And this is your host, Kavaski Irvin. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.